Imagine being the biggest artist your city ever produced, only to get booed at your own hometown's championship game. Not even a cheer, just silence. Drake pulled up to the World Series thinking he'd be the king of Toronto. But what happened? He got clowned, ignored, and replaced by his own rivals. This wasn't a birthday bash. It was a public execution of Drake's legacy. And it might be the clearest sign yet Toronto is done with him. Do you think Drake is really falling off? Or is this all part of a bigger plan? Drop a comment, subscribe, hit the like, and tell me, has Drake lost the six for good? Drake turned 39, but instead of reflecting, celebrating, or doing something classy, he dropped a bizarre tough guy message. Foul vows for anyone trying the owls. What does that even mean? Instead of showing gratitude, Drake chose to flex bitterness. He used his birthday to send veiled threats, claiming things were about to get more insane if you crossed OVO. Rather than a celebration, it was a warning, like he's at war with the world while blowing out candles. Instead of taking the moment to reflect on a legendary career, appreciate the fans, or show even a hint of humility, he went full PR villain mode. On his birthday, he posted this cryptic and borderline cartoonish message. The only thing that's going to change in year 39 is that things are going to get more insane. Foul vows for anyone trying the owls. Wait, what? First of all, nobody knows what foul vows even means. It sounds like a bad mixtape from 2006. Second, this wasn't a message of growth. It wasn't love. It wasn't peace. It was pure spite. He used his own birthday, his moment, to act like he was in the middle of a street beef. He turned a personal milestone into an opportunity to throw shade at anyone who's crossed OVO. The takeaway wasn't "I am grateful." It was "Don't mess with me or I'll diss you." For a man nearing 40 who's supposed to be a global ambassador for music, this is the energy of a high school hallway threat. It's not mysterious. It's not deep. It's cringe. And the worst part, he thinks it's working. But behind the filters and the hashtags, people are seeing it for what it is, a meltdown masquerading as confidence. So how did Drake follow up his menacing birthday post? He tried to steal the spotlight at Game 1 of the World Series. He rolled into the Rogers Center in Toronto, expecting admiration, cameras, and cheers. Instead, crickets. Literally, he showed up on the Jumbotron, and the crowd barely reacted. No massive cheer, no hometown love, just silence. Some even booed. For an artist who once was the city, this was brutal. After the menacing owl birthday post flopped with fans and critics alike, Drake doubled down. He showed up uninvited by public demand to Game 1 of the World Series in Toronto, thinking this was going to be his comeback moment. You could tell he believed the stadium would light up when they saw him, that the crowd would cheer, the cameras would pan, and he'd reclaim his city with one Jumbotron cameo. But when they cut to Drake on the big screen, silence. Not just silence, awkward, soul-crushing silence. A few faint boos echoed from the crowd. But what hit the hardest wasn't hate, it was indifference. No one cared. This is Drake, the face of Toronto, the guy who used to get standing ovations just for stepping out in public. Now, he looked like a lost fan who accidentally got caught on the kiss cam. It was a fall from grace in real time, like watching a prom king show up 10 years later, expecting the same glory, only to realize nobody's clapping anymore. The cameras cut away quickly. The moment passed, and with it, so did the illusion that Drake still runs the city. Let's rewind a bit. Just months ago, Kendrick Lamar held 2 sold-out shows in that same venue. The Rogers Center erupted for him. He played Not Like Us, got an encore both nights, and left Toronto shaking. Drake, he's never performed in that stadium, not once. Instead, he hides in arenas, claiming stadiums aren't his thing, but fans aren't buying it anymore, especially when Kendrick and even Cardi and The Weeknd are selling out that same venue. You'd think Drake's hometown would throw him a bone for the World Series, right? Wrong. Instead of collaborating with OVO or Drake on any promotional efforts, the Toronto Blue Jays teamed up with The Weeknd. They dropped exclusive XOX Blue Jays merch. No OVO, no Drake. The message, loud and clear, they've moved on. Just when it couldn't get worse, enter Pharrell Williams. At the very same World Series game where Drake was sitting in the stands, Pharrell performed an incredible pre-game show with his gospel choir. While Drake sat there watching, looking like a background extra, Pharrell got cheers, energy, respect. It was a reminder. Artistry, creativity, and professionalism still matter. And Drake, for all his posturing, looked like a spectator in his own city. Let's be honest. Famous people always get cheers at games, even D-listers. You put Bobby Bacala from The Sopranos on the screen at a Yankees game, people cheer. Flavor Flav, loud cheers. But when Drake, arguably the biggest artist in the world, shows up in his own city during a historic sports moment and the crowd gives nothing, that's not indifference, that's rejection. There's a golden rule in live events. If you're famous and they put you on the screen, the crowd will cheer, even if they don't know you that well. People cheer out of respect, out of tradition, out of good vibes. You throw up a C-list actor from a 90s show, they'll still get love. Flavor Flav shows up at a Yankees game, people go wild. But Drake, at the biggest sporting event Toronto's hosted in years, got nothing. That's not just bad optics. That's a cultural shift. This is a city that used to treat him like royalty. He was their guy, their success story, the artist who made Toronto matter on a global level. But now they see through it, through the calculated image, the fake love, the forced appearances. They're not mad, they're just over it. And that's the real danger. When a crowd boos you, there's still emotion. But when they sit there silently, that's when you know you've lost them. Drake showed up rocking a Blue Jays chain, trying to sell the image of being a diehard fan, but no one bought it. He's never really been associated with baseball, never hyped up the team before. So to suddenly act like he bleeds blue and white, it came off forced, cringe, desperate. And in a moment when authenticity mattered, Toronto saw through it. Fans used to defend Drake not doing stadium shows by saying there was beef with the Rogers Center or ownership. That, maybe Kendrick, got to perform there because Drake was blacklisted. But now, Drake got the full Jumbotron treatment. He was there front and center, smiling like everything was fine. No beef, no blacklist, just no respect. So the theory's dead. Drake could have played the Rogers Center, but he never could sell it out, and he knew it. This isn't just about sports or concerts. This is about culture. Toronto is watching its once iconic hero morph into a parody of himself. Drake used to represent the city. Now he feels like an out-of-touch brand ambassador, desperately clinging to relevance. While his rivals thrive, The Weeknd, Kendrick, Pharrell, Drake plays defense in a city that used to worship him. There's something poetic about Drake sitting silently in the stands, while Pharrell performs with purpose and The Weeknd collaborates with the team. These artists weren't chasing clout, they were creating moments. Meanwhile, Drake seems stuck in PR mode, scripting image control while the culture moves without him. The biggest criticism here isn't that Drake got booed, it's that he doesn't show love unless there's a camera on him. When Kanye performed for the Bulls in 2015, he did it for the love of the city, not for brand alignment. Drake had the chance to perform, support his team, or even just rally the city, but he didn't, because for Drake, it's all about optics, never heart. The silence said it all. Not only has Toronto stopped cheering, they might be done caring altogether. From being their champion to being their cringe uncle at the party, Drake's descent is no longer a rumor. It's unfolding live, and the world is watching. So what happens next? Will Drake finally acknowledge the shift? Will he bounce back or fade further? One thing's for sure, when your own city turns on you, it might really be time to say, goodbye, Drake.